So we're going to talk about rounding a bit here. I want to start by talking about rounding to the whole number, or to the ones column. Now, when you round a number, what you're doing is you're getting rid of the extra stuff on the end of it that you don't need anymore. So if I'm asking to round to the nearest one, or to the ones column, or the whole number, those are all the same thing. What I'm asking you to do is, I'm asking you to change the number so it's just in the ones column. That all this other stuff here, all this stuff here, is no longer there. And so I have to make a decision on whether I'm going to move the number up or keep it as it is. And let me show you what I mean when I say that. So for this problem right here, 3.6, there's two possible ways of rounding to the ones column. One of them is to keep it as 3. The other one is to change it to 4. For this second problem, 4.2, there's either the possibility of keeping it at 4 or changing it to 5. For this next one, 9.5, there's the possibility of either keeping it at 9 or changing it to 10. Those are the only possibilities, and that's an important thing to keep in mind. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and look at the tenths column, because that's the only column that really matters when you're rounding to determine whether you round up or not. So 3.6, okay, I know it's either 3 or 4, so all I'm going to look at is, I'm going to look at that number 6. Is 6 5 or greater? That's the rule, 5 or greater. If it is 5 or greater, then I round up to the next number. And the next number is going to be 4. I round to the higher of the two numbers. So now for this one right here, 4.2. I look at that 2 and I say, is 2 5 or greater? Well, it's not. So I'm now going to keep it at 4. For this one here, I have to look and say, okay, is 9, the 9 number is what I have. I'm going to either change it to 9, or keep it at 9, or change it to 10. So now, 9.5, I look at that 5, and is it 5 or greater? Yes, it is. So that means I change the number to 10. So that's the way it works, and this is how it works if you go ahead and you have it rounded to the tenths column. I'm going to put up a few problems like that. Okay, so now if I'm rounding to the tenths column, I'm rounding to this column right here. So one way of thinking about it is either possible for the answer to stay at 3.6 or it's going to change to 3.7 because that's the next number up. This one here, it's going to stay at 3.7 or change to 3.8 if I need to round it up. This one here is going to stay at 4.2 or change to 4.3. Those are the possibilities. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the next digit over, past the tenths column, past the column where I'm rounding. And I look at that, for that first problem there, is the number in the box 5 or greater? Yes, it is. So that means I'm going to choose the bigger of the two numbers. For the second problem there, is the number in the box 5 or greater? Yes, it is. So I'm going to choose the bigger number. For the third problem, is the number in the box 5 or greater? Yes, it is. So that's why I'm going to choose the bigger of the two numbers. And you can do these all day long. These are, it's a way of representing data, representing information in shortened form when you don't need as much precision. So if I have here 3.78 and 3.99 and 14.8 3, 2. One way of thinking about it again is this idea of if I'm rounding to the tenths column, I'm rounding to this column right here. So my answer for this could either be 3.7 or 3.8. Those are the only two possible answers. For this one here, it's either 3.9 or what's one higher, it's going to be 4. For this one here, it's going to be 14.3 or 14.4. So now I'm going to look at this number in the box and see if I round up or not. So the number in the box for the first problem, is it 5 or greater? Yes, it is. So I choose the bigger of the two numbers. The number in the second box, is it 5 or greater? Yes. So I choose the bigger of the two numbers. For the third problem, is the number in the box 5 or greater? No, it is not. So I choose the smaller of the two numbers. Let's do one where we're rounding to the hundredths place, or one set where we're rounding to the hundredths place. Okay, so now the hundredths place in each of these, it's really important that you understand where the hundredths place is. If this is the tens place, this is the ones place, this is the tenths place, this is the hundredths place, and this is the thousandths place. So those are all really important things to know. So if you're asked to round it to the hundredths place, again, underline that. So my two possible answers are going to be, well, the first one could be 30.98, or the second one could be 30.99. And all I did was I moved up the hundredths place one amount, or 1/100ths. Second problem, 58.68 or 58.69. Third one, 49.98 or 49.99. Those are the only possible answers. Now I'm going to circle this and see whether or not the number in the box is 5 or greater and I have to round up. If I don't have to round up, I can just leave it as the first number. So in that first problem here, this problem here, 30.983. Okay, is 3 5 or greater? No, it's not. So I stay with this number here. So 58.689, that 9 is the important thing to pay attention to. Is 9 5 or greater? Yes, it is. So I go up to the next number. And the last problem, 49.982. Is 2 5 or greater? No, it's not. So I stay with this problem here. And that's how you round. Give you one more problem here just to make sure that it's clear, 39.008625. If I ask to round to the tenths column, I still am only caring about this number here. So the answer is either going to be 39.0 or 39.1. And then all I have to do is look at that next box. It doesn't matter what else there is. Just that next box is enough to look at. Is 8 5 or greater? Yes, it is. So the answer is going to be this one right here. And that's rounding.